Hi, hello, this is Anup here, and in this video what we are going to see is all about Intune assignment filters, aka Intune filters. What is Intune filters and what is the use of it? Why Microsoft introduced Intune filters when we have Azure Active Directory dynamic groups for devices and users? What are the advantages of using filters and how filters are going to help admins in application or policy assignments? What are the supported scenarios for the filters? And we'll see how filters can help to remove some of the conflicts in application deployments, etc. So don't skip it. Let's go and watch. Let's talk about Intune filters today. Intune assignment filters. How to create filters. What is the difference between SCCM collection versus Intune filters? And what does associated assignments? And a lot of other things which we are going to look into in this particular video. Let's move on. Intune assignment filters, and these are the talking points for today. What is filters? Why do we need this? And comparison between SCCM collection versus Azure Active Directory groups versus filters. How to create filters, we will see that in the demo. And what is associated assignments. All these things we are going to see in this particular video. Let's move on. Before going into the details of Intune filters, let's understand where this is coming from. We have Azure AD groups, Azure AD dynamic groups for devices and users, and there are 19 device properties for that. 19 device properties, plus we can have custom attributes also in hybrid scenarios, whereas Intune filter has only 9 device properties at the moment. But still we are all excited about Intune filters and we want to use Intune filters wherever possible. Why is that? Processing of Intune filter rules are much faster than Azure Active Directory dynamic group updates, and Microsoft's SLA for dynamic group updates in Azure Active Directory is 24 hours. It doesn't mean that it will take 24 hours to automatically update the members of Azure Active Directory dynamic group, but sometimes it has been noticed by several Intune admins that Azure Active Directory groups are not getting updated with new members, and that is causing deployment failures or enrollment failures for many devices, especially in autopilot scenarios, etc. The other point which I wanted to quickly highlight is Azure AD dynamic group rule builder supports the construction of up to 5 expressions. This is another thing which is much better in Intune filters. We'll see that in the coming slides. Now let's quickly compare what you can do with WQL queries in SCCM collections. So over here you can see I can create a WQL query with SCCM hardware inventory where I can check whether Google Chrome is installed or not. If the device is having lower versions of Google Chrome, then you can create a collection for those versions, older versions of Google Chrome, and target application, the latest version of Google Chrome, to that collection. My point here is WQL queries can help you to get very granular details from the devices, such as WQL queries help admin to filter based on very granular details of the devices. So from the device property in SCCM, it can fetch the details of application installed and the version of the application, and then you can create WQL queries based on version of the application. We'll check whether that is possible through Intune filters or not, and the answer is no, it is not possible. Probably in future, but at the moment it is not possible. The only 9 device properties are there when I'm recording this video. Microsoft Intune team is working to get more exciting features into Intune filters. It is not fair to compare between WQL queries and Intune filters. Intune filters are part of the modern device management solution, and it will have a different approach based on the modern criteria. So let's move on. Let's understand what is Intune filters. It is Intune assignment filters. This allows you to include or exclude some of the Intune enrolled devices. Intune enrolled devices from supported policy or application assignments. As name suggests, it allows admins to include or exclude some of the Intune enrolled devices from supported policy or application assignments. We'll see what does it exactly. Similar to Azure Active Directory dynamic groups, you have a rule builder to create a rule for those filters, and you have rule syntax text box also that can be used to edit or create filter rules. And I recommend to use rule builder. That is much easier than rule syntax text box. But rule syntax text box is easier if you already have a query and you just want to copy paste it. In that scenario, this one is better. Other important point you need to remember is all the Intune workloads are not supported for Intune filters. We'll see that in more details in this video at the later part. So this is the architecture diagram that Microsoft shared. So this is the main scenario here. Step number 1, admin creates filters. Step number 2, admin assigns those filters to some of the app or policy assignments using all these options, filter modes, etc. And then device enrollment and check-in. If the devices are not enrolled, then filter evaluation engine cannot assess those. That is why it is much faster than Azure Active Directory, because it is very close to all other Intune workloads and it uses the same device record, etc. Then we are into filter evaluation engine. Once the device is enrolled, then filter evaluation engine will check which are the policies to offer, which are the policies to exclude or not to offer. Based on filter mode you have set over here, there are two filter modes, include or exclude, and then there are something called filter results and overall results. We'll see what is it in the example in the next slide. And once that is done, then admin can view the reports and evaluation results. We'll see that also in the coming slides. So that is the overall architecture of Intune assignment filters. Let's move on. How does this filter engine works? First criteria is you should have that particular device enrolled into Intune. Without enrollment, filter engine cannot work. Filter engine evaluate filter rules for each devices. Okay, it is for devices, and then offer supported workload policy to those devices. You can see one example over here. Policy is not offered because filter criteria is not matching to this particular device. Filter mode is include. Include this device if the criteria is matching, if this particular criteria is matching. And what is that criteria? It is mentioned over here in the rule syntax. Device name should start with Namaste. So this particular device name starts with CPC, and that is why the rule is not matched and filter mode is include. If the rule is matched, this policy will be offered to this device. At this moment, this rule is not matched. That is why the policy is not offered to this particular device. We'll see that in details over here in this particular table. Let's understand what is filter mode. Filter mode is include, and you can have exclude also, that you can see over here. So include, if the filter result matches, this is the filter result, evaluation result. Okay, if the filter results matches and the mode is include, the policy will be offered. That is what I explained over here. That is the first scenario. Second scenario, the filter mode is include and not match. Filter result, evaluation results are not matching. The exactly same scenario. Then policy is not offered. Here you can see the policy is not offered because it comes under scenario 2. What is third scenario? Over here mode is changed. It is exclude, and if it is matched, then policy is not offered because it is a exclude mode. Exclude mode means the admin doesn't want to deploy this particular application or policy to this particular device if it is exclude mode. And the criteria, if the evaluation criteria is matching, then the policy won't get offered to this device. And what would be the fourth scenario over here? Mode is exclude, the other mode exclude mode, and it's not matching. Exclude is not matching, so the device won't be excluded from this assignment using the filter. Then the policy will be offered offered. So these are the 4 scenarios which is there for Intune assignment filters. Okay, so this is very important to understand. If you still have some doubts, you need to pause the video and go back a bit and start again. That will give you more details or more understanding. Okay, let's move on. Now let's check limitations of Intune filters. At the moment, one Intune single tenant can have only 200 filters, and maximum allowed characters for the filter is 3072. And as we discussed, another limitation is device must be enrolled. So if you are doing any checks before enrolling the device, such as enrollment restriction policies, etc., those things are not supported with Intune assignment filters. So Intune enrollment is must before using Intune filters. This point we have already discussed in the previous slide. All the workloads in Intune are not supported with Intune assignment filters. This is the first part and this is the second part. Admin part, admin will create filters and then assign it to application or policy, and then Intune service will take over. It will evaluate filter rules against that particular device properties. Let's move on. These are the 2 rule creation options for Intune filters. Intune filter rules are nothing but different various filter options for devices based on device properties. These are the device properties as you can see over here. First thing, this is the Intune rule builder, Intune filter rule builder. As you can see, there is no limitation like 5 as we discussed over here. 5 expressions for Azure AD rule builder. In Intune, we don't have that because we are already having more than 5 in this screenshot. Intune filter rule builder is much better than Azure Active Directory dynamic group rule builder. So these are the device properties and these are the conditions. There are 2 conditions. One is and, other one is or. And the second column is device properties and the third one is the filtering options, I would say. For example, if I take this one, device name should not contain HDMD. If the device name contains HDMD, that will get filtered out. Manufacturer name starts with M, probably Microsoft. Device category starts with H. Device ownership equals to corporate, and you have options such as personal, etc. Device trust type, Azure Active Directory join, hybrid Azure Active Directory join. All these options are there in the filter over here. And operating system name, operating system version, and over here you can see rule syntax. So if you already have a rule, then you don't need to use this one. You can just copy paste the rule over here and that will take care of your Intune filtering rules. If you want to exclude all the devices which are not assigned with any enrollment profile, then you can use this value $null. This is very useful in many situations. So Intune filter rule builder is to help admins to create rules using a UI rather than doing complex query writing like this. You can have lot of typos or human errors if we do this, but over here human errors can be reduced a lot if you use Intune filter rule builder. Okay, let's move on. This is something newly introduced to help admins to check and troubleshoot the usage of filters for different resource types. This is kind of a reporting on filters. In this example, you can see AVD multi-session filter, and that is used for different resource types: settings catalog, VPN, administrative templates, custom policy, Windows package manager, new store, and filter modes also you can see from the associated assignments. And group name also you can see over here. This is very useful for troubleshooting scenarios as well as for removing and filter. For example, if you want to remove a filter, if you are doing some cleanup for some of the filters and you want to see which are the assignments already using this particular filter for different resource types, etc. In that scenario, associated assignments is going to help you a lot rather than using some very complex graph API queries, etc. etc. So let's move on. We talked about Intune filters evaluation in the previous slide. This would be a quicker one. Intune filter evaluation is against the device properties. The filter engine will check the device property and confirm whether the device model is cloud PC in this particular scenario. And you can see over here the device model is cloud PC. This is the filter rule. It is checking whether the device is cloud PC or not. If it is cloud PC, the admin doesn't want to get this particular policy. Evaluation result is matching as we discussed over here. It is exclude and the evaluation result is matching, then the policy is not offered. That is the scenario you can see over here. Because it is a cloud PC, it is not getting this particular policy. So that is another way of looking into Intune filter evaluation. Let's move on. These are some of the troubleshooting scenarios which I want to quickly cover. This is very important. When you assign a filter, this is the assignment part we are talking about. Assignment part over here. After the creation of the filter, there's the assignment part over here, right? When you assign a filter, there would be three options. Don't apply a filter, include filtered devices in the assignment, exclude filtered devices in the assignment. So exclusion will get the first priority in this particular scenario. If a device is part of different Azure Active Directory groups and it is getting two assignment modes. What is assignment modes? Basically, assignment modes are required application or available application. There are three assignment modes basically. Uninstall is also an assignment mode for applications. So this is basically for application conflict removal, automatic conflict removal for application assignments. If the device is part of two different Azure Active Directory groups and those two groups have two different assignment modes, one group has assignment mode as required and the other group has assignment mode as available. Even though this is not a recommended scenario, admin should avoid this kind of scenarios, but Microsoft produced a automatic conflict resolution for this scenario. First of all, you need to understand application intent evaluation will happen this one, that is the intent happen before filter evaluation. So what is application intent over here? If group 1 intent is required and group 2 intent is available, the resulting intent would be required and available, will get installed automatically and it will be available for users in company portal as well. Okay, so these are the app intent table. I will link that document to the description of the video. So first of all, you need to understand what is app intent. Now you got that from this table. So this is the exact scenario we discussed about here. Now from an Intune filter perspective, how the filters engine is going to automatically help admin to remove the conflicts. There are mainly two things from Intune filter side, and app intent is already discussed, so I'm not going to cover that part. So let's talk about Intune filter mode. So Intune filter mode, there are two filter modes, that is include and exclude, as you can see in the previous slide as well. And there is another mode, that is do not apply. Exclude mode is going to get the first precedence. So if the device has multiple filters with different modes, then this precedence is going to take effect. If it has exclude and include, exclude is going to win because exclude has first priority. And if it is do not apply any filters, there's no filters, and other group has include, then do not apply is going to win because that got the second priority. So that is how Intune filters automatically resolve the conflicts for this scenario. And the second one is OR logic. If multiple filters using the same mode, for example exclude mode, which has the highest priority, then OR logic will be applied. Let's move on. Intune filters device properties versus device platforms. We have seen there are 9 device properties which are supported by Intune filter engine. Now let's check in this table which of those are supported for specific device platforms. So device name is supported for all the platforms. Manufacturer also supported for all the platforms. Model is also supported for all the platforms. Is rooted is supported only for the mobile devices: Android device admin, Android Enterprise, iOS, iPadOS. It is not supported for macOS, Windows 11 and Windows 10 devices. Enrollment profile name. This is not supported for Android device admin and macOS scenarios, platforms. Device trust type is not supported for all these device platforms. It is only supported for Windows device platform, Windows 10 and Windows 11. Operating system SKU. This is only supported again for Windows devices, Windows 11, Windows 10, not supported for other device platforms. Okay, let's move on. So we will have a lot of details about supported workloads for Intune filters in the demo, but just wanted to give you an overview. Application types. For Android device administrators, store apps are supported, web links are not supported with Intune filters. Line of business apps are supported. Okay, let's move on. It's the demo time. If you're an Intune admin, you can go to devices and filters. From there, you would be able to create a filter rule. Over here, I'm going to create a sample filter rule to give you an understanding. Platform is important over here. We need to select the platform. So we have different platforms available as we discussed, supported platforms with device properties, etc. in the slides. So I have given the name, description and selected the platform. Click on next. Over here, I have already selected different filtering rules. So as we discussed, this is the rule builder and this is the rule syntax text box, and this is where you can have a preview of devices. If I click on preview, you would be able to see the devices which are satisfying this filter rule. Okay, I got lot of conditions over here in the filter rule, but it is satisfying lot of devices. It says device name, user, manufacturer, model, device category, OS version, rooted or not, ownership, enrollment profile, device type, joint type, operating system version, etc, etc. So all these details are under preview. So this is very useful to check whether you have a correct filter in place or not. Now I'm going to add one more expression over here. I'm going to select the device property as ownership and then equals. I'm going to select a personal over here, and once I click on here, it will automatically add this to this rule syntax. So once you have created the rules, then you can click on next and then create a filter. So creating filter is not going to impact anything in your Intune environment unless and until you use it for some of the assignment. Now let's go to applications and filter on Windows and take a 7-zip application over here. Go to properties. If I go over here in the assignment for all users, in the assignment, required assignment, you would be able to see filter and filter mode options. Let's click on filter option over here, and I want to exclude cloud PCs so that the cloud PCs won't get this particular application. For example, if I want to search cloud PCs, you can see there are only 2 cloud PC filters. So I'm going to select Windows 365 cloud PC, use that rule to exclude all the cloud PCs from this assignment. Now the filter mode is exclude and the filter rule is this, and then you can review and save it if you want. Now let's quickly go into one of the device and check. Now let's quickly go into one of the device and check filter evaluations from the device properties. So over here you can see there are 5 filters evaluated against this particular device. Let's click on disable Internet Explorer 11 filter evaluated hyperlink. Check what is the evaluation status for this particular PC. Click on that and you can see this filter rule is for multi-session devices, and cloud PC is not multi-session. The SKU is not server. So the mode is exclude and evaluation result, filter evaluation result is not matching because it is not a multi-session PC or VM. It is a cloud PC. You can see the operating system SKU is enterprise in this scenario for this particular PC. It is not server RDSH, but you can see the evaluation is not matching. We have a view about all these things. Now let's go into devices and check filters And under one filter, let's click on this filter rule, and you can see a new tab over here, associated assignments. This is the new tab, and this is going to help the admins to check what are the assignments for this particular filter rule. So there are different assignments over here, and there are different resource types. Settings catalog is there, VPN is there, device restrictions, again custom policy is there, and then Windows Microsoft Store is there, and administrative templates is there. So all these things are different resource types, and all these resource types are supported for filters. And this is the filter mode. You can see the filter mode also over here. This is include, this is exclude, etc. And groups also you can see. This particular policy or application is assigned to this particular AD group or not. So this is very helpful in troubleshooting scenarios, and if you want to do some cleanup of your filter rules. Now let's quickly check what are the workloads which are supported with Intune filters. Android device administrator, this is what we have seen in the slide, but you can see over here this is for application deployment, and Android enterprise, this is also for application deployment. And you can see the only supported workloads are these four: Android enterprise, system app, managed Google Play, and for iOS, iPadOS, the web link is not supported, store apps is supported, line of business apps are supported with Intune filter rules. Now let's check macOS. Again, the same thing, but web links are not supported. Windows 11, Windows 10, web links are not supported. All the other apps are supported. Line of business apps, Win32 apps, Microsoft Store for business apps. This is already going to retire soon. Okay, now app configuration policies, Android and iOS, iPadOS, those are supported platforms. Compliance policies, as you can see, all the platforms are supported almost. Interesting to see there is no Linux platforms mentioned over here, but probably that is for later. Now let's check the configuration profile support scenario. Android device administrator, enrollment device platform restrictions, that is not supported because it is before the enrollment. So that is why it is not supported. Custom policies are supported, and certificate deployments are supported. Same for Android enterprise. You can pause the video and check. I'm just going to go through the documentation over here. iOS, iPadOS, most of the scenarios are supported for iOS and iPadOS. macOS also, most of the scenarios are supported apart from antivirus, disk encryption. For those workloads, Intune filters are not supported for macOS platform. Windows 10, 11, most of the things are supported. Most of the workloads are supported from a policy perspective. Disk encryption is not supported. Security baselines are not supported. These are the two types of policies which are not supported for Windows 10, Windows 11 device platforms with Intune assignment filters. And there's a big list of features that don't support Intune filters: custom compliance policies, MAM policies for Android, iOS, and Windows, end user experience customization policies, provisioning profile policies, partner device management, all those things. You can pause the video and have a look into all those details. We talked about conflict scenarios and conflict resolution for the filters. And this is an excellent documentation and table provided by Microsoft. You can refer to this to get more details. You can pause the video and read over it. I will also add all these links into the description of the video so that you can check it out. So you might have learned a lot of things about Intune filters now. Intune assignment filters, how the filter engine works, and what are the limitations of Intune filters, how you can make use of Intune filters if a user has multiple devices, physical device as well as virtual device. Probably some of the policies or applications should not go to the users if the user is logged into a virtual device, Azure Virtual Desktop or Citrix Cloud VDI or Windows 365 Cloud PC. How filters can help with those situations. The applications and policies deployed to that user will only get applied on physical device, not on virtual device whenever they log into different virtual device, if it is a multi-session scenario, etc. And we talked about troubleshooting scenarios of Intune filters as well. Hope this was helpful. Thank you all for watching. See you around.